Every year, approximately 1,800 space pebbles crash into the Earth's surface. Most want to remain anonymous or have no unusual anecdotes to tell. However, some are outright strange or represent a unique threat. Here are 5 fascinating shooting stars to read about today, ranging from the sole person killed by a meteorite strike to the cosmic rock that held a comet. The Doorstopper. David Mazurek purchased a farm in Edmore, Michigan in 1988. Mazurek observed a boulder against the shed's door as the departing owner showed him around the property. He inquired about the unusual appearance of the thing. The salesman informed him it was a meteorite without a doubt in his voice. He and his father observed it blazing through the sky before it reached their property one night in the 1930s. He somehow gave the rock to Mazurek. The meteorite remained a showpiece on the farm for the following 30 years. Mazurek eventually learned of other persons selling little chunks of meteorites for a decent price. He had his rock assessed at Central Michigan University since it weighed 22 pounds, 10 kilograms. The Edmore Meteorite, as it is now known, was discovered to be a beautiful space rock containing a significant amount of nickel. Not only was it one of the largest ever to hit Michigan, but it was also extremely significant both financially and scientifically. Mazurek eventually sold his Doorstopper for $75,000 to Michigan State University's Abrams Planetarium. The Maryborough Meteorite. David Hull chose to go metal detecting in Maryborough Regional Park in Melbourne, Australia in 2015. This location is part of the Goldfields region, where the gold rush peaked in the 19th century. So when Hull discovered an unusual red rock with dimples, he was confident it contained gold. Acid baths, drills, and an angle grinder were all ineffective in breaking apart the rock. As a result, Hull gave up and resumed his life. His curiosity was piqued again a few years later, and he took the piece to the Melbourne Museum to be identified. The gold was shown to be a 4.6 billion-year-old meteorite. A diamond drill eventually removed the chip, revealing the rock to be a chondrite meteorite. The latter is distinguished by a high proportion of iron and crystallized metallic minerals known as chondrules. It was the second largest chondrite ever unearthed, weighing 37.5 pounds, 17 kilograms. The rock was so old that it formed when the solar system was devoid of planets. It most certainly joined numerous pieces of junk in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter before being blasted out of orbit and heading for a collision with Australia. Hull was extremely fortunate that these occurrences aligned over eons and delivered the primordial fragment where he could discover it. The Driveway Meteorite. Thousands of individuals witnessed a gigantic fireball blazing across the United Kingdom in 2021. The Wilcock family of Winchcombe heard a rattling noise outside their home but did not explore until the next morning because it was already dark. That's when they noticed something odd in the driveway. Small, dark things resembling Barbie briquettes were strewn across the pavement. The shattered pieces belonged to the first meteorite to land in the United Kingdom in 31 years. It was also such a rare carbonaceous chondrite meteorite that the specialist who came to see the family was taken aback. The rock was formed roughly 4.5 billion years ago, long before Earth was conceived. What makes it so valuable is that the meteorite has remained essentially intact throughout the millennia, providing researchers with an incredible opportunity to study the early solar system. This meteorite was weaponized. Archaeologists discovered an iron arrowhead near a lake in Switzerland in 1873 or 1874. They didn't realize the significance of their discovery at the time, and the antique artifact was lost in a museum collection. Researchers recently dusted off the rusted arrowhead and conducted some tests on it. Surprisingly, the current investigation indicated that the arrowhead was made 3,000 years ago from iron from a meteorite. The experts immediately assumed the debris was from the so-called Twanberg meteorite, which impacted close where the arrow was discovered. However, research revealed that it was not a Twanberg fragment. Instead, the iron is thought to have come from a meteorite that crashed into Estonia approximately 1500 BC. Its arrival in Switzerland revealed something previously unknown to historians. Individuals in these regions were dealing meteoric iron as early as 800 BC. This one hit a pillow. Ruth Hamilton, a Canadian woman, awoke one night in 2021 to the frenzied barking of her dog. An explosion erupted and plasterboard debris showered down on her. She contacted 911 because she thought her house was being broken into by a particularly vicious burglar. However, while on the phone with the cops, Hamilton discovered a fist-sized rock between her pillows, as well as a fist-sized hole in the roof. When the police came, they assumed that a neighboring construction site had detonated and mistakenly blown a rock towards the woman's house. When the authorities arrived at the scene, they discovered that no detonation had occurred. The construction crew did, however, hear a booming bang and see an explosion in the sky just before Hamilton made the call. It was soon obvious that meteorite had landed on her bed. This was not only an incredibly uncommon occurrence, but it was also a very fortunate escape for the homeowner.